have any of you even heard of this movie, The Rhythm Section? I'm a pretty big film guy, and I already had forgotten about it. But it's important we discuss, because it really did set the tone for It Ends With Us. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. Kim, you're back. Is it safe to say I'm a movie fan?
Probably the biggest movie fan I know.
I mean, like, I got movies everywhere. If you could see my whole place, movies. I didn't even know about this movie. How did I miss this movie? The rhythm. When I read about this story, I'm like, oh, I heard about this. But this movie bombed so bad. Nobody saw it. Nobody heard about it. It was tanked. This was supposed to be like a female James Bond. Barbara Broccoli, Eon, was involved to sort of do a new project called The Rhythm Section. And Blake Lively was the James Bond. I might have to watch this just for comedic sake. But this was a big deal. We're going to go through some of the things. But I want to go through it together because the reason this is all very interesting is how it really ultimately parlays into what, and this is an article from back then of sort of, It Ends With Us has to work as she seeks a Hollywood comeback because she was coming off of this massive bomb that was The Rhythm Section. So, Kim, you've helped prepare some information. There have been a lot of theories we're going to go through. We got Be Better, Steph with the Deets, a lot of people here who have been talking about this case for a while. The theory is that, yeah, she basically took this movie over as well, is what the theories are online, correct? But truthfully, we can't really prove that, can we?
No, unfortunately, we can't. It is an anonymous source that brought this information to Be Better, and it has been reported by many other content creators who've done a fantastic job. But ultimately, as I was digging, I was only able to find a few things that kind of pointed that maybe there could be elements of truth to this, particularly in this Deadline article. So it kind of highlights that the film did flop, but it does have an interesting part about post-production. So there is a paragraph in here saying, then in post-production, I understand, the author understands that Morano, the director,
who's the director of the film, Reed Morano, yeah.
Lively and Eon all clashed on what the final product would be, with the latter's version winning out. Note, this wasn't a scenario like Will Smith in Bad Boys for Life. Lively wasn't a producer on Rhythm Section with a voice. So just the fact that that's mentioned, that she was not in a producer role, but clearly had some opinions about what the final product of the film could be, to me, that shows she was definitely trying to take authorship, right? And that's kind of been a discussion we've had as we've looked at It Ends With Us after that Forbes interview that came out, that she said that she needs that authorship to feel fulfilled. And sometimes it goes over well, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm wondering if this is kind of one of those times it didn't go over well, but the whole movie just was it really does seem like it was just a big mess. But as Blake talks in this clip, it does show her wanting for authorship, her admiration for the director, like she wants to be in that position.
And this director, she's a really good director of photographer. She won some awards recently. She's very, very desired. Good. So I'm not surprised. But yes, let's listen to her quote.
You feel a lot more alive as an actor when you have a director who's also filming moments and capturing that. And she's just like so cool. I just like want to be her. But she's really great, and she's a great.
Now, I'm not surprised by that, Kim.
Yeah,
I've heard good things about this person too. But yeah, but go ahead.
Just in the context of everything that we've heard through this vacuum of authorship, I thought that was very interesting. And there also was another clip that I did find on Reddit. So credit to this subreddit, the Blake Lively snark and no use 7021. Again, it looks like from the same press junket, she explains kind of how this movie came to be. And again, definitely there is Blake authorship here as well.
Oh, beyond authorship, obsession, stalking. Yeah. I mean, my gosh, let's
go.
Section, the way it came about is I was.
Sorry, it's quiet, guys. You might have to boost up.
Stalking Reed Morano, our director, and I was actually trying to get her to do another film of mine, and they told me that she was entirely unavailable, that it's not worth it. I called her agents and I said, please just like take a meeting with me. And they said, okay, she can meet tonight at 10:30 p.m. And they knew I lived 2 hours away from where it was. So they were just gave me like an.
They did? How would they know where you fucking live? Because you told them, I'm 2 hours away. It's so telling, even just that comment. Like a little flippant comment, I can tell she must have bitched them. Guys, I'm 2 hours away. How else would they know where she freaking lives, Kim?
An impossible sort of goal. And I was like, okay, I'll be there. And they said, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I'll be there. So I met her at this like random restaurant outside of our
They must have been so annoyed. They're like, oh, I tried to get rid of this girl.
house at 10:30 at night one night, and I begged her to do my movie, and she was she was meant to do another movie instead, and we instead spent the entire night talking about this script that she was obsessed with called The Rhythm Section. She wasn't hired as the director. I had never even heard of it, and we both left the meeting wanting to make The Rhythm Section instead, but the problem was we weren't hired. Barbara Broccoli had no idea who either one of us were.
Barbara Broccoli, who ran James Bond up until Amazon just bought it.
And so then I became obsessed with finding this script, and I tracked it down. And she didn't tell me the name of the script. She didn't tell me it was called The Rhythm Section. She just described the story. She described the character. She said it was the producers of Bond. And I knew that that meant Barbara Broccoli, who I had just heard the best things about my entire career. Everybody said not only does she make such incredible movies, but she's such a great person, and she has such incredible taste, and she's just so kind and humble.
Okay,
and just,
okay,
like,
okay.
the best of the best. So I'd always wanted to work
That's basically what we have to do, because in order to get access, you have to say all those things about Barbara Broccoli.
with Barbara for that reason. So I read the script and loved it, obviously. And then I begged Barbara to meet me. And
Oh my
and I
God.
called Reed and I was like, listen, I know you're
Listen.
doing another movie, and I'm supposed to be doing another movie. Let's be honest, neither one of us want to be in those relationships. So let's do this movie instead. If Barbara's willing to hire us both, would you want to go in together and say, like, look at this, you got both of us?
So that's very telling. Do you know? Because I picked that up. She basically just snuck the movie from Reed, who's in there, and was like, I'll get you the meeting with Barbara so you can maybe get it, but I'm going to be in it. Which I wonder if Reed even wanted her to be in it. Maybe they were just talking and having a fun dialogue, but now Blake has weaseled herself in to get that meeting through Barbara, which clearly all the work has been done by Reed.
And she was like, yes, I would love to make this movie with you. So she met Barbara that weekend. I met Barbara that weekend. And we just sort of like, begged her to hire us both as a she didn't have anybody attached to the movie, and now she would have two, like, lucky her. And she fell for it, which is incredible.
Was that a tell there, Kim? She fell for it. She fell for it, guys.
So that's
feel
sort
like-
of how it came to be.
I want the curb music. Anyway, go ahead.
I kind of had this feeling after I watched this clip, similar to after we watched the Forbes interview, that it's just like, she says things, and it's like, I don't think she understands the way she sounds when she says them. I respect people who are ambitious. I respect people who go out and try to make their dreams come true and things like that. Like, I totally get it. But there's just something about this that just is off. It's off. And just starting with saying, like, I stalked her, and, then she fell for it. It is weird. And I mean, the whole filming of this apparently was a lot. At one point, Blake actually broke her hand. I believe it was her knuckle. She said that the hit kind of made her knuckle like go into like confetti, I believe was the quote. I don't know if we could find that one. But she ended up having to have two
Party
surgeries.
confetti. It was like
Yeah.
pow upon contact. Yikes.
Contact. Yeah, so it's like there was a lot that happened with this film. Production had to shut down for a bit while she recovered. It's just a mess. So
Well, and again, important because it didn't do well. It was a big bomb, and that led to all this. Now, there is this theory through Be Better. And can you sort of summarize it so we don't have to watch the whole thing? But this is the best clip we could sort of find. But this alleged person who was there basically said Blake took over the movie, correct?
Yes, that is the allegation. But again, we can't prove all of that 100%. But I think looking at the information we've just looked at, it's very clear that there were issues through this film, that there was something with it. There was something going on here that was different. And I think it does really, really factor into what happened with It Ends With Us. Because as you pulled up that other article there, Eddie, with In Touch, I believe, that there was so much riding on this for her to be her comeback. And as you read through the article, again, you get these very strong assertions of her ownership of the project, of her authorship of the project. And again, as I've said a million times, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to have, control over a creative project, but it needs to be your project. And it's clearly there is a moment here that she went too far, allegedly, according to Justin. And I see the writing on the wall even reading this as we go through. Like, I don't know if you want to...
It's just the quote, the source saying, this is prior to everything really going down, it has to work for Blake to continue to be a movie star. It's based on a successful enough book that if the movie isn't profitable, Blake will have egg on her face. That's where Ryan comes in. It's no coincidence that his production company, Maximum Effort, because that's what he gives when he puts his name mind behind it, promising blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this was everything. She needed this movie to work. I've always alluded to this and said, but now in looking at the rhythm section as another piece to this whole puzzle, it really does add to the factor. Yeah, that movie, she once again seemingly got caught trying to take over. And two, it was such a big bomb and she was so involved with her authorship that if this movie didn't do well, Kim, it would have been disastrous. So it got the irony, right? The movie did great, but the disastrous results were people finally learned who Blake Lively really was. Go ahead.
100%. I was going to say, just this paragraph you got right up right there, but this project is also very personal to Blake, and she's been the driving force behind it. It's about things that are important to her and define her family life. The idea that love can triumph over adversity is a big deal to Blake, and this movie is going to be a celebration of it, the insider explains. Ryan is cheering her on and providing strategy because he believes Blake could be the biggest actress-producer mogul this side of Reese Witherspoon, and she just needs a few more hits under her belt to be thought of that way by everybody in the movie business. So again, it's when we know now that this is a project that Justin had taken on for like 5 years prior, trying to get the rights to this film and wanting to do it because of the DV element, it all just...
Well, and it's very important that we add, again, because this is very telling of the date. June 4th.
Yep.
This is before all the retaliation, all of that stuff. That's why it's the key story, because this was put in, and probably by Blake's team, putting out their own stuff, sort of setting the tone for all the control that she did in case anything came back. Well, it was all justified because Blake needed this. That was always what this was about. So she went in knowing day one, I got to take this over. I'm going to steal authorship. I might pull the rug from them. But then to add all this pressure that she's facing, that's ultimately what I think happened. And maybe as someone who was on edge and more annoying than usual couldn't deal with the director because she knew, I could do this so much better. I need to take over this. This isn't what it is. This isn't what it is. Stop being weird and huggy. Oh my God, I don't have time for hug. Whatever the nonsense that was. She was so stuck she couldn't see. She had a hit. She had a good director. She had a good team. If she had just shut up, done the movie, been a team player, everybody could have worked, and this movie would have still been a hit, and she wouldn't have been tarnished in the press, Kim. But she couldn't help herself, could she? She couldn't help herself. And honestly, I don't feel that badly because it's her own words. Her own words. And they, again, to sum it up, they fell for it. Not anymore, Blake. We're not falling for it anymore. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for alerts, smash that like button as well, and leave your comments down below. We got a lot more coming for you this week. And again, we'll be posting updates from our set visits. I'm shooting in LA from our It Ends With Us documentary. So check out Patreon members. You'll be getting exclusive updates as we are filming. I want to keep you looped into the production. So stay tuned. Thank you, Kim. Always a pleasure. Stay tuned, guys. Support It's Kim as well. And click on these videos. Thanks, everybody.